Good morning. Good morning. I want to go ahead and jump in here so we can go ahead and conduct our pre-market analysis. Hopefully, everybody can hear me all right. I had some issues the other day with the microphone. So hopefully, I have all of that resolved. I'm using a different mic as of right now. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and come into here, kind of explain my trades as of right now that I'm currently in, which I'm only in UJ at this very moment. And then just we're going to go ahead and jump right into my pre-market analysis for the day. And then from there, we're going to see what trade opportunities presented itself today. Today is January 13th, 2026. It is currently 5 a.m. in the morning, and we're going to go ahead and kick this off. So as of right now, we are currently up in profits about $534. And just to kind of show you some closed positions off of this exact account, I'm currently in the process of working off of two different accounts. Am I able to? I don't think I'm able to move my base from this side to that side. Um, Not that I'm aware of. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and see if I can make this happen for the time being. So, well, that's not working. Sorry, this thing's giving me a little trouble. There we go. Or not. All right. So it's giving me a little trouble, but I can go ahead and pull this up. There we go. All right. So coming in straight right here, so we had a nice profit taking off of GU. This one came back. It was in our favor. It came back and stopped us out in profit. Then we had this nice profit taking right here, which was almost a $600 win. And then right here, we had some losses at this very moment. I know you can't really see it at this moment. I'm trying to see if I can show you. There you go. Okay, or not. All right, there we go. All right, so right here we had these three losses and then another win prior to, and then this loss at the very beginning of this entire trade. So we had two almost $600 winners and then a handful of different small losers throughout this entire trading journey upon this account, right? So all of these trades that I took were all swing trades. So as of right now, we are net positive $748, and we're currently floating $535, giving us right here, we're at an equity of 26,283 at this very moment. I am in the anticipation that UJ will get closer and take me out of my take profit zone. I have moved my stop loss off of the 4 hour underneath this most recent higher low. And then I am anticipating that price will continue, come up and tap me out into profit before it does a full retracement as of right now. So that's pretty much what I'm looking like at this moment. And just kind of go into UJ specifically right here. We have this take profit, which is the negative 61. This is where my take profit zone is currently at, right here at 159.4 area. So let me just confirm 159.4, yeah, area right here. So I was anticipating it could go a little bit further, but I'm good with taking profits here. And then if I need to just make another small opportunity trade in order to pass this first phase, that's perfectly fine. I'm not personally worried about passing it today. I'm not worried about if I pass it tomorrow. You know, the ideal is hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I will go ahead and pass this account. But if it takes me 3 weeks, that's perfectly fine too. I recently just passed one of my two accounts that I've been working on. So as of right now, I have completed phase two of a two-phase account. So phase one I passed, then phase two I passed. And I actually passed with gold. So we'll get into that just to show you where I got out and how I passed the account. But yeah, let's jump right into our pre-market analysis as of right now. So today is Tuesday, January 13th. Looking at pre-market analysis, the very first thing that we always want to do is we want to check on news events. So news events, I check the Forex Factory, and from the Forex Factory, I have here, we have USD. So we have a handful of different news events coming up currently. It is 5 o'clock. So therefore at 5 o'clock, there is a yellow folder, and then we jump into an orange folder. And this can jump in at any given time. This is giving an estimate between 5 and 7:30 that this will drop. So the only thing is this will drop whenever it decides to drop. So you can put a notification on here, and once the data releases, it will then send you an email stating to you that that this item specifically dropped, and now you have the information. If you don't want that, you can just select it and then turn it off, or you can unsubscribe from this calendar event, and then it will take it away. So outside of that, we have core CPI. And one thing I noticed is gold loves core CPI. Now, when we get into gold, I'm going to explain what gold could do during this news event, which I believe it will do, only for the reason where gold likes to react to CPI. Doesn't mean it always reacts in the good time, right? It can react good or bad, but I just know gold loves to react to CPI. So with that said, at 7:30, we might get a nice retracement off of gold for an entry opportunity for later in the day, or even for an entry for tomorrow, because this could be the catalyst in order to mark a nice retracement area for a re-entry. And if that is the case, I would love that, because at that point, I pass my account, I can get into a solid trade in order to try to ride it with the overall trend. So, kind of coming into the rest of the day, we have a handful of different news events for USD. All of these are yellow folders, so not too crazy amount, in the sense of like, not too crazy yellow folders. We're not going to get too much additional shifts in the market. Now, we do have a lot of, in general, USD news today, like a handful. So by having the amount of news events, this could cause an additional ripple outside of just CPI, because we have continuous news events that popping additional liquidity throughout the market. So this is something to just be mindful of, is when you have too much news in one day, you can really get a jump into the breakdown of everything that's kind of going on. Um, so with that said, just be mindful that liquidity throughout the remaining of the day could be there for all USD items. So just be worried about that. Going into Wednesday, just a quick little tip for the beginning of the day. We don't really have any additional news until we come back into the market around 7:30, and then at 7:30 we have PPI. So with PPI going into tomorrow, just be mindful of another sporadic day that could again give us an opportunity in order for an entry, or a pullback, depending on how today reacts, right? So if CPI today continues higher, right, then tomorrow PPI could bring the market back down for a retracement in order for the entry to occur tomorrow night or going into Thursday. So I'm not personally, again, worried about getting an entry today. I'm not worried about getting an entry tomorrow. I'm just looking at what opportunity market structure presents based upon the news events, and then based upon market structures, how I'm going to enter the trade. So that's pretty much it. And let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. So I'm just going to do a quick analysis as of right now, just to kind of see how everything is going. So DXY, I've mentioned on previous pre-markets that I was in the anticipation that the market's going to come up to this 61% area and then reject and continue lower. So we are pretty much at the 50-61 area that I was anticipating. So as of right now, all we're waiting for is a lower high to be presented and then an expectation of a continuation to the downside. Now, it doesn't mean that this has to continue to the downside. And I just want to notate that real quick is we could get this little tiny retracement that already occurred off of this one candle, and then price kind of slows down right here and then continues higher. So if there is a slowdown where we get multiple dojis in a row, we could reverse back to the upside. um, but I am in the anticipation based upon previous market structure that was really bearish. I am in the anticipation that we will continue to break the lows, even through this consolidation phase. So that's all that I really have for market structure off of the DXY. So this is my direction is bearish, right? I am currently bullish with this retracement until price shows me that we are bearish again, which it's starting to show some opportunities for bearish, which if you look at this specific daily candle, you had this candle right here that we opened up. We opened up right here. We almost took the high, showing bearishness, right? Because it didn't actually take the high. Came down and swept the lows. So by sweeping the lows from right there, this is showing a bearish signal. And then price came up and closed below the previous candle's low. So for all of those reasons, this one single daily candle is a bearish candle. And then the only next step is now today we need to see what the opportunity presents itself. So I'm anticipating that we get a pullback that's lesser than this high, and then a break to the downside or an inside bar where it doesn't actually break through the bottom, but it's just kind of moved sideways. So if we move sideways today and maybe even tomorrow with news events, we could have a nice breakout to the downside, and within 3 candles we could be dropping all the way down back to this low. Now, I don't trade the DXY, of course. This is only for direction. So if my direction for the DXY is bearish, that means, for example, USD would be bearish. And then if USD is bearish, that means UJ more than likely will become bearish in my eyes. Again, no guarantee to that, but that is what I'm thinking of as of right now. So going into GU, if the DXY becomes bearish, that means USD is last off of GU, meaning that this could become bullish once again. Now, I am anticipating GU to become bearish currently. So the only downfall is for UJ, I'm bullish. For GU, I'm bearish. And for DXY, I'm actually thinking I'm bearish, but both of my other signals on both of my other pairs are showing the opposite pillar. So this is the only downfall where inverse correlation is not aligning as of right now. So if I get an opportunity where price action then becomes bullish, I would actually love that opportunity off of the DXY, because at that point, my GU, my UJ, and my DXY would all line up. But if I'm looking at DXY, just again, real quick, the only way I see a bullish opportunity is if we get a solid higher low planted at about 50% of this move. So I'm bearish until proven, that I'm not. And if we get a pullback to about this 50% zone or this 61%, then this could be a triple touch to this trend line, and then we could push up. And I would actually love that, because then it would align me with everything else that I already have drawn. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So GU, just going into here, we're gonna drop to a daily. So off of the daily candle, I'm going to go ahead and just unmark everything right now. Daily candle, we always start with. So we had this nice move, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit extra just so therefore we can see the overall picture. So we had a high here, a lower high here, and we are currently forming a lower high as of right now. We are also forming what looks like a shoulder, so left shoulder, head, and then a right shoulder as of right now. This is what it's currently looking like. So if we get a reversal right here, which is we already broke below the EMA off of the daily, and now we're touching the EMA right now. And if we get a signal to go lower, I would love to enter for a drop. And I'm anticipating this drop to go all the way down to 1.32 area. Um, at the like bare minimum. Now it could drop continuously because we had this high to a lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So we could get this lower high, and then we could get a new lower low, right? We could. I personally don't see it dropping that low, but it definitely could without any questions. So as of right now, we are in this daily consolidation area, and this is why I would love to take profits at around this area, which is the 1.32 zone, because this would come down right to my area of interest where I would be looking for another buy opportunity, because this would meet my Fibonacci A, B, C, which is between the 50 and 78% Fibonacci, in order to head back up to hopefully the negative 27 Fibonacci zone. um, so just zooming back in, we can go ahead and take this off the chart. So we have broken these lows, showing a sign of opportunity that we could continue lower. And then right here, we have the 4 hour mark. And this 4 hour mark, we are currently actually making a double top as we speak. So we had a nice push to the upside, a bearish bar formed, very small consolidation started, and then an attempt to go higher, failing at a perfect double top. And now we have a bearish bar coming back down. So let's see what opportunities we have off of a 2 hour. We can turn on all of our drawings. We are at this key level. We already pulled back to kind of like the area that I was interested in. We're making a double top. We are currently making a bearish and a possible bearish engulfing bar. Right now it's a tweezer top at this very moment. This is off of a 2 hour. If we actually look at this 1 hour actually looks really nice. We had a bearish engulfing from this bar that engulfed below this EMA. I personally would love to get in off of this trade right here. So I am set on getting a order right here. We're going to put a stop loss right here. This is going to be our first stop loss. And this trade specifically is only going to get 30% of our total trade dollar value. And then I'm going to put another stop loss right above this key level. And this stop loss right here, this is going to give me the opportunity of putting 70% just in case price pulls back a little bit further and then drops. That's going to be perfectly fine because we do have the news events that's coming in within the next 2 hours. So it is definitely highly probable of happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this trade on both of my accounts. Now, due to the market having a news event that's occurring recently, right, coming up very, very shortly, I am going to half my total risk. So on this specific trade right here, we are normally risking $200 per trade. You can see where price was going in my favor, almost took me out off a full take profit, but then it slowly ate away my entire move and then came back through and took my stop loss. But I got out somewhere around here. So right here, we are looking for a sell. Stop loss, my first stop loss is going to be right above here. And for this one, I'm halving the. So normally on this exact account, I risk $200. So on this specific trade, I'm only going to be risking a total of $100. So I'm going to be risking 30 bucks on this exact trade. So $30 right here. We're going to add a stop right there. And then my secondary stop loss is going to be right about, yeah, 1.35, right above 1.35. So I'm going to add that extra pip right there. And then this is going to be a total of $70. So therefore we have a total of $100 on this entire trade. And this is my open positions as of right now. Now, while I'm going to jump onto my other account and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Again, I'm cutting because of one main factor, and that factor is going to be strictly because of the high volume news event that is soon to come into the market. If I do get stopped out, I don't want to be stopped out with a full loss. I want to be stopped out with a partial loss and then have the opportunity to get a new entry in the future with my full stop loss, because only taking half the risk is going to allow me the flexibility um, of like accepting the risk, if that makes sense. All right, so right here, normally on this account, I trade a total of $500 per trade. So for about 30%, we're looking at what typically that would be 300, so 150. So we're looking at 150 for this total move right here. So 150. All right, and then sell, and then I'm gonna move my remaining stop loss up to the same zone right there. All right, and then this one is going to be an extra 150, so 350. All right, and then 350 trade, boom. All right, so now I'm in both positions as of right now. This is actually my first, as you can see, my very first trade. Sorry, it's all kind of, it's just reflecting the screen. So this is my very first trade off of this account. So we will see what opportunities present itself as the day continues. I'm actually off of work today, so that's a great opportunity where I'll be actually with the charts through the news events today. So not that I'm going to really do anything. I'm just going to be able to watch the charts a little bit more. Um, but let's go ahead and see what other opportunities there are right now. So that is me jumping into GU. And then let's go ahead and show you just where my take profit would be, because you're probably questioning like, where am I taking profit? All the way down here, right? So right around this move. So by entering where I did and my stop loss above the key level. So let me just show you right here. So if I had my stop loss that I mentioned right above here, we're looking at about a, let's see, we're looking at about a 1 to an 11 risk to reward ratio. And then for my secondary stop loss, so remember that was only 30% of my trade. So $30 for 11 to 1, that's up to a $330 reward that is potential. Now on this trade, I have a 1 to 8 risk to reward. So all of these, both of these trades are easily above a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. So we'll see how the opportunity presented itself and how it goes. The reason for this stop loss is it's at / slightly above my main key level, and it's above my 61%. So for both of those reasons, I feel confident in this trade. If price action comes back and takes me out of my most recent stop loss, that's very close, and it just wicks out, and then it comes up a little bit further and then continues down. Again, perfectly fine. If it takes liquidity, takes me out for my small 30%, and then continues in my direction. Now, if it takes me out of both positions, that means our entry wasn't right, or the news event just had way too much manipulation in that sense. So therefore, it just took us out with our full take or our full stop loss, and then it decided to potentially go in our direction. You could also enter this trade if you really wanted to, and you can put your stop loss all the way above this most recent swing high. And if you did that, this would still give you a 1 to 2.6 risk reward, and more than likely you will not be stopped out at all. So if you're good with a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio, you could switch your stop loss all the way up here and take this same trade. Me personally, I would personally be perfectly fine with these stop loss zones that I already planted. So for that reason, I'm not going to be putting it up here because it doesn't match my risk to reward ratio directly. And for that reason, I try to do a minimum of 1 to 3. Now, I do have for GU and UJ and so forth, I do take profits at about 2R. So 2R would be near this bottom area. So we'll see how price continues to react because this is actually a really solid trade opportunity. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it on GU. So let's go ahead and jump right into gold so we can see what opportunities presented itself. So, excuse me. So right here on the daily, we have, all right, unmarking everything. So the daily candles, gold is looking very phenomenal right now. So gold, and I'm going to show y'all where I entered gold and then where I actually took profit off of gold, which then gave me my pass for my previous or for my current account that I have on my phone. So right here, we had gold where it was pushing up very nicely. Right here, we had a major pullback, and then we had a nice solid uptrend that we have just been in and riding this entire move. This entire move right here, we have past phase one, we have past phase two, right? And now we are currently in our funded account. So this entire daily move has really brought us the opportunity to today in order to try to trade for live dollars. So just continuing with the opportunities that I've had, this is what I've seen. So this previous resistance then became support in this general area, came a little shy, right? But still became resistance turn support. And then beyond that, we continue to head up, breaking these highs. And then, so right now we are currently in this major push up at this very moment. And you could say, based upon this information, you could say we have a Fibonacci from A, right? I don't know if you can see it, but this is a pivotal point. So we have a pivot point here, and then we're coming up as of right now. So this is my Fibonacci that I currently have drawn out, A, B, and I'm anticipating a possible pullback to at least the 50%, and then a continuation up. Now, this 50%, if we go to a 4 hour, this 50% area lines perfectly up with the gap area. So my thought process is if we do pull back the 50%, right, then we will go ahead and get that liquidity for taking out this entire gap. And then after taking out the gap, then we're going to start riding back up. That is what I'm anticipating. Now we can see at this very moment off of the 4 hour, we are currently we just came down to our EMA and we're currently riding our EMA at this very moment. So at the very moment, we do not have the momentum to pull back to the 50. So that is where in the next 2 hours, we have news events. This is where I like news events. I don't trade the news event because I'm not putting the risk on. I'm not trying to short this. I'm not trying to sell it down to my area of opportunity because news could come out and then we could go straight to negative 27 and that's it. Like, I'm not looking to try to get in this move. This is not where I trade. But what I'm anticipating is the news event's going to come out. We're going to get a wick to the high, right? And then so therefore people are going to try to buy into this move thinking we're going up. And then price is going to say, haha, now we're going to go down. And then it starts sweeping the lows, coming back down to my area. And then by about noon, we're going to be all the way down here. And then at this point, maybe even it could be like 10 o'clock in the morning, to be honest with you, for it to sweep the high and then come all the way down. So we'll just see how market reacts. Because you can see these 4 hour candles, it just dropped, like it came up, and this exactly, this did exactly what I'm talking about right here. Like price came up and then it was just wicked all the way down, right? price came over and then just push down, push down, push down, right? So everything happens in the sense of like opportunities everywhere. So what I'm seeing is a possible, wick to the upside, thinking that buyers are going to take control, and then it immediately fells and then sweeps all the lows. And then, this is where the big money's going to come in. They're going to start buying all of this up whenever we get to this trend line, when we get to this support zone area, because big money is thinking we have an opportunity to start buying significantly. Now, there's two things. If we don't get a buy opportunity in this zone, right, between the 50 and 61%, I personally think at this point, if we do not, we will get a daily retracement all the way down to these previous wicks. So you see this wick, 1, 2, 3, and this is a previous support zone, right? Previous resistance zone. And then we could get a retracement all the way down here, filling this fair value gap, right? Whatever you want to call it. And then from here being filled, then we will then start shooting up, giving us a Fibonacci from A to B that filled a 61% total area, and then it continued higher. So depending on how the relative strength comes in, if the strength comes in anywhere near this candle, like just look at this candlestick right here. So we had a candlestick that came all the way down here. And if we take the same candlestick and just place it right here, look at that. That means it could come down to this exact area before we're, reversing. And this is for the whole candle, right? So if I even decreased it to just the body area, right? The body right there. And then currently where we're floating, and look at that. It comes right to this area. Now, again, I don't know if that's going to be 100% accurate, but this is the way that I see the market. Is the market loves to repeat itself. We had this huge retracement. I would not be surprised if we had another retracement similar, because we already had, right, the market do it once, twice, 3 times. What's another time, right? It's just what the market does, right? We get a nice solid push to the upside, and then we get a nice solid retracement, a little plateau, and then a continuation. And that's exactly what happened here, right? Nice push to the upside. We had a nice significant move, a plateau, push to the upside, right? Looking at the bigger picture, push up, we had a push down, a plateau here, and then a continuation push to the upside. So it's like it just continues to repeat itself for gold. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking on gold. Is I'm waiting for a retracement to either this key level at 4,500, and then in order to buy it up, or I'm waiting for it to continue all the way down to 4,400, and then I'm looking for an opportunity for a buy. So either one of these key levels are going to be the area that I'm really interested in for a buy opportunity. And due to me being able to trade throughout the day today, if an opportunity presents itself, I personally don't need any notifications directly, because I'll be checking the charts as I'm going through the day, since I'm not working today specifically. So let's go ahead and jump into the next couple items. So I'm going to go into silver first, and then we're going to jump into UJ. And then after UJ, then we'll kind of break down the other pairs. I don't really see too much happening on all the other pairs at this moment. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you all, so therefore we can kind of break them down. So on the daily candle on silver, this is the same move that we're currently in on gold. We have pretty much been in this little consolidation zone, and we are starting to break out of this consolidation zone, and we are breaking to new highs. So on the 4-hour, we have broken the previous high point, and we actually gave a little bit of a retracement, a nice bounce. But you can see immediately following this bounce area, this was not enough momentum of a pullback to actually continue higher at this moment. Now, you could have a news event, and this is where I have no idea with silver how CPI or PPI is going to react to silver. I would assume it's similar to gold, but you never want to assume that it will be the same. So I'm gonna have to see how price reacts. So if it reacts the way I believe it will, with just like it will with gold, I'm thinking that we could wick to the high potentially, and then come all the way back down, filling our 50% zone before we continue higher. And this zone is actually higher right here. If it does pull back further, I would honestly love for silver to come back down to this support resistance zone slash trend line area here, and this would give me a perfect entry opportunity. If it came all the way down here, this would be exactly where I would love to enter. So that's pretty much what I got on silver. Very similar to gold. Fibonacci A, B, waiting for the 50 to 78 to be tapped into in order for my trade opportunity to present itself. And then once it's in the 50 and 78% area, that is whenever I'm looking for a buy opportunity to be presented. If price breaks the high and continues to ride, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm just going to wait for the ride to end, the ride to pull back. Just like if you think about a roller coaster, you don't jump on while you wait for it to come back into the area that it unloads, and it loads back, everybody back up, right? So at that point, that's whenever you get onto the ride and then you start riding it, right? Simply put. So that's what I got on silver. We're gonna go right into UJ. Sorry, that's US 30. My bad. UJ is right here. I was looking at it. I was like, why does that look funny? All right, UJ. I am thinking that we are still in this buy opportunity. We broke out. As you can see, I got into this buy opportunity all the way on December 26th. On here, I'm just curious on where this was opened up at. I opened this one specifically on January 6th. So I opened this trade. Okay, December 29th, I opened this trade. And then on January 6th, I opened this trade. So these are two different trades that I'm in on UJ. And these are the dates that I got in. It always has the day and then the month off of GUI trades. So, but yeah, this is pretty much where I'm currently at. So we're looking really good upon this one. UJ going into right here. Excuse me, I've been sick, so therefore I just been having this annoying cough, as well as boogery nose. So sorry about that. All right, so UJ right here, we were in this consolidation zone. We slowly were riding higher. So let me delete this downtrend move. We can delete this downtrend move as they don't really matter anymore. This support zone right here doesn't matter to me anymore. This support zone is still relevant, not this move as we already played out. So this specific move, I'm thinking more along the lines of this area now. Boom, right here. And then we have this kind of Fibonacci zone that's kind of forming here. I highly doubt we'll get a full pullback off of this exact move as of today. I don't think this move is done with its bullish uptrend. I think with all the news events that's coming out today and about 2 hours from now, this is really going to push the market up, finish the move, and then have a nasty retracement back to our buy zone. Now, it could do the opposite. It could just have an immediate nasty reaction back to our buy zone and then continue higher. But I think since we're already in the middle of this move, I think the relative strength would be more significant than the sellers coming in, because we're breaking out to new highs. We're already above and we're already at this negative 27. So I think the greed and the desire to make more money riding this move up, people are going to be intraday trading, trying to scalp it, all those kind of things. which is going to make price manipulate back up before we come back down for this retracement. So this is where I'm pretty much at this moment. If price does retrace, I believe that we could retrace back to this kind of support zone here before we continue higher. I personally think that we're going to continue a little bit higher, possibly get to this -61. And if we do that, then we will more than likely come back for a retest off of this previous high, like double top here area. So this would now be our most recent support resistance zone right about here. And this is just an estimate. And then from here, we would look for an opportunity for a pullback, a bounce here, and then a continuation up. So that's pretty much where I'm at with UJ at this very moment. I can kind of delete this consolidation since it's already broken. But yeah, these are my two levels that I currently have on. Nothing too crazy, just kind of straightforward upon that. Let's see. Okay, cool. And then what else we got? So that's pretty much all of the main pairs that I trade. Now, I did want to actually look at UCAD. I noticed UCAD had an opportunity of a sell coming up. So I just want to take a quick look at it. So as of right now, I pretty much emptied out my charts. I have nothing on it. So we're going to draw this up from nothing to something. So right here, we are in this overall bearish move off of the weekly. We then had this break to the upside that broke this previous high. Now, if we look at the weekly time frame Fibonacci, just so therefore we can kind of get a glance at it, we can drop to a weekly. And then from this weekly, we had this Fibonacci from A all the way down to B. So this nice solid move here. We have came up, tapped the 50-61% zone, and then sold like crazy. Now, we were in a bearish move here, pullback, and a bearish move currently. We are also in this this push up, this pullback, and this higher low right now. So we are currently technically in a consolidation because we have a higher low off of the weekly and a lower high off of the weekly. So for that reason, I believe that we are bearish, but only if bearishness presents itself currently. So coming over to the daily, we would have to see an area of interest. So my area of interest is very straightforward. If you can't see it right here, I'll give you all a couple seconds to kind of look and see where it would be. So my area of interest aligns right here. And we are currently at it at this very moment. So I can delete this overall Fibonacci because it doesn't matter to me. We're going to draw this weekly Fibonacci right here, or daily Fibonacci. So we have a daily Fibonacci A, B, C. Pretty much the way that I see this is off of the daily candle. We have just been riding this solid downtrend. We had a small little pullback, but not a significant pullback. So this little pullback here is not significant enough to take off this entire daily structural point. But this one, this is a swing high that's being created. So from this move, I'm anticipating that we're going to continue off of this. So we've had this resistance zone, and you could even pull this down a little bit to touch a little bit more in this area. So touch point, resistance, 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 support, support, broke through a little bit of resistance here. Price came down, came up, and now we're back at resistance. So if this holds resistance, which it currently is based upon the most recent daily candle, we can see that we had a bullish engulfing that came in, and then immediately an inside tweezer top bar that formed. So as of today, I'm not looking for an entry, just FYI. So as of right here, we were in this nice EMA down, reversal back up, and we are currently above this EMA. So for the being above the EMA, I'm bullish. For being in this strong uptrend, I'm currently bullish. Because of the higher low that was planted right here versus over here, I'm bullish. Um, so for all of those reasons, I can't enter a trade for a sell yet until I get a sell opportunity. So my sell opportunity is, like I mentioned, the overall weekly. This is about the 50 to 61% zone before we sold off. So now that we are bullish in the very moment, I personally need to see this support zone that held up multiple times slash resistance zone turn back to resistance. So on the 4 hour, we can kind of come into here and see what opportunities we have. And we can see that price, we can kind of get this trend line here. So trend line, we can see that there's a nice trend line here. We also have a little bit of a trend line here. And you can see as of this moment, neither trend lines have been broken as of yet, right? So for both of those reasons, I'm not interested for acting into a trade. Typically, I'm market structure, and market structure wise as well, we have this low point, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And we can see as of this very moment, we are currently in this consolidation zone between this higher low and this higher high. So right here, if we drop this to a consolidation, we are technically still in a bullish uptrend. These are all the reasons why I cannot enter for a sell as of right now. You could say that we are starting to sell off at this very moment, and I would agree we are starting to, but we haven't confirmed the relative strength of the sellers in order to actually enter for a solid sell opportunity. So you might ask is, well, could the market sell off right now? And I would say, yeah, 100%. I would actually want that. I want this move to occur today off of the news events that's happening. And then I would love a pullback to this support zone if possible, and then a continuation down. And then I will catch this lower high off of this 4 hour slash daily, and then I will enter for the sell, and I will try to ride this trend all the way down to this trend line here, if not lower than this trend line here. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now off of UCAD. So there's an opportunity coming soon off of UCAD. So on here, I'm not going to watch as much. So I'm going to add in a small green light area. I totally didn't add the green light spot. So green light, I'm going to resave it. So now this is a green light. So once price breaks through, it will notify me that it has now broken my area of interest. And now I'm going to be looking for price to continue lower, retrace, and then continue itself. I just want to be notified that it did break. And if it did break, then I can look at the chart again, just kind of see where we're located and what we're doing, and then determine if we have a solid opportunity for a sell or not. So that's for UCAD. I already checked out UJ. So we are looking good in both of those. Let's jump right into US 30. US 30. So right here we have US 30. Let's look at the daily. Daily, I'm anticipating a continuation to the upside. And then a pullback, and then a continuation. So as of right now, it looks like I'm not looking for a trade because we're just too close to the highs as of this moment. So off of the 4 hour, we kind of made this W pattern, break out to the high, pull back, and we have price just really slowing down off of this 4 hour time frame right now, which I don't like it. We had this huge move up, right? We had one huge move up, second huge move up, but it fell to go higher, and then it fell to go higher right now. So news event could pop this thing off and then make it ride. Or right? It can make it fail as of the same time, give us a higher, another higher low off of this low in order to ride higher. So we'll see as it presents itself. But as of right now, I'm currently not interested in looking for a buy opportunity off of US 30. I'm just kind of watching price action, seeing how it takes place. Um, and right now, I just don't love the price action that it's been creating. It does have higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, or double bottom here, higher low. So, I mean, it's overall in an uptrend. So if you did buy, you have a high probability of it working out. Um, but again, it's just too close to this to the top right now, and I don't feel personally confident that if I got in for a buy, that it'll actually work out at this very moment. Um, not for like the short term, right? For the long term, yeah. For the short term, no, because short term we could get this nice pullback before we continue. We had silver, S&P 500, and then of course S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are going to be very closely the same. They're very closely correlated. We can see there's a lot of resistance that's happening near these brand new highs. I'm not sure, is this all-time highs? Yeah, this is all-time highs. Man, that's crazy. Okay, so all-time highs are being created as of right now. So, um, with that said, we're slowly trending up still, even with these all-time highs. We are seeing a deep retracement here, but price is really slowing down at these all-time highs right now. So you can see price was heavily pushing up, right? And then ever since this kind of double bottom kind of formed, it's been trying to fail at actually creating a nice solid move to the upside. So, and then right here, we have a lot of bearishness coming in because of all these wicks. So we are breaking back to the high, making all-time highs, um, but it's very weak from what I can see right now because we're trying to push up, but we're getting a lot of um, resistance right above it. So we'll just keep on monitoring SPY or the S&P, sorry. And then from there, if we get a nice retracement, then at that point we could get in for a long-term buy. But as of right now, I'm currently not interested in trading this off of the daily candles. It's just too choppy in my opinion at this very moment. Um, you see how it's just like goes up, comes down, and then comes down, and then goes up and up. It just slowly trickles. So you could day trade this, you could swing trade it, but um, you're very limited on the swing trade. You're very much capped at slow momentum. So that's pretty much what I got right there. And then the last one as of right now is going to be the NQ. So based upon the NQ, we can see off of the daily. This one's in this nice consolidation range. With this consolidation range right here, we are starting to break out just like the S&P 500. We have a lot of resistance that's coming in as well. This one is not at an all-time high. This one's actually at a lower high than the S&P. So for this reason, again, I'm not interested in looking at this move for a possible continuation. Um, we are getting a nice break right now, and then we could continue higher. Um, but I'm just not interested at this very moment for this specific move. So, but that's pretty much going to complete everything for today based upon my pre-market analysis. Let's go ahead and just check in off of GU just to see where we're at. It doesn't really look like we moved much. Yeah, we haven't really moved much. So, um, I mean, that's perfectly fine. We're just kind of seeing what opportunities present itself. And yeah, we're still pretty much at our entry point. So whether you entered whenever we first got in or you're entering right now, I mean, you're pretty much at the exact same entry point. And this is where I personally have just been seeing the opportunities right, as they present themselves off of a swing trade. Your entries aren't having to be so perfectly perfect, right? With scalping and day trading, you have to have a little bit better entry opportunities in the sense of price and where price goes. Otherwise, you might miss out on your 1 to 3, 1 to 4, or whatever that you're aiming for, even a 1 to 2, right? On this one, I have a 1 to 11 risk to reward ratio and a 1 to 8 as of right now. And that's because my stop loss is right around here. So, and for that reason, I just went ahead and entered, right, with very minimum hesitation. If the price doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, that's great. So we'll kind of check back in, see how price is doing overall for the rest of the today, and then hopefully we get a gold opportunity by tomorrow, and then we'll enter tomorrow. But that's gonna wrap us up for today. Y'all have a great rest of your day, guys. If y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.